Stay focused. We got this. Hey everybody, welcome to Seriously Lighthearted Yoga. Today we're going to be stepping back to some of our first videos and kind of expanding on them a little bit.
We talked about a wheel yesterday. This is like a wheel.
Yeah,
making the revolutions here.
Absolutely, yeah. And so we're going considerably back here. I think this was our second or maybe third video. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Anyway, we're going to be kind of expanding on Yoga Sutra 1.2.
Woohoo!
And
for those of you who don't remember, Yoga Sutra 1.2 was Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And that, again, that sutra kind of defined yoga for us at that point. Yoga is the cessation of the turnings of thought or the fluctuations of the mind, is kind of how it's translated. There are a bunch of different translations that are all kind of similar to that. But I want to break down this Chitta Vritti part. So Chitta Vritti is kind of the part of that Yoga Sutra that is seen as prohibiting your yoga practice. So the Chitta and then Vritti is like thought fluctuation. So the thoughts, the mind, and then fluctuations, the Vritti. And these fluctuations are what kind of create the pleasure-pain dichotomy that we experience in our minds most of the time when we are unattentive to our thoughts. And there's sort of 5 different categories of Chitta Vritti that create this that attachment aversion paradigm. And the 5 different categories are 1, Pramana, which is kind of seen as like a standard or an ideal that you hold something to that it may not fit. So it's something you create beforehand. It's kind of like a prejudice almost for something else. So you have an idea of what it's supposed to be, and then if it doesn't fit that, you have some sort of issue with it. You get angry, you might be disappointed or unhappy. Maybe you're happy, but either way, this is pulling you away from that equal mind that we're trying to get at. And then there's Viparyaya, which is sort of seen as like a falsehood that's attained through some sort of study. So we come to believe it because we think we have gone through this really rigorous discipline of figuring out something that's true. And I'm trying to think of a good example of this. It's kind of like how we believed for a long time that the sun revolved around the earth. That's a pretty good example of it. We just kind of saw the sun moving around us and thought, obviously, it's revolving around us. That is sort of the falsehood quality that Viparyaya has. And then there's Vikalpa, which is, if you think of like imagining things, your imagination is actually a deterrent to a good yoga practice. And when you imagine things that are not true, that stand a bit at odds with everything that's around you, you are creating something in your mind which sets you up kind of like for false feelings, false identities. I'm trying to, like if like a homeless person was imagining that they spent millions every day, like that would be a bit of a stretch from where they actually were in their life. So that imagination can, again, pull you away, might create pleasure, might create pain that is unnatural and not productive to your yoga practice. And then after that we have Nidra, which is sleep. And this is kind of, sleep in yogic philosophy is a little bit different than we think of it. It's more just like a lack of ideas, like nothing happening. And it really is a very profound sense of like nothing happening, nothing really occurring in your mind. If you think of like going to sleep and then not dreaming, this is kind of the sense that they're getting at, the feeling of it. But it's like a lack of experience, a lack of color to everything that you are experiencing. And then Smrti is the last of these 5 categories, and it's seen as memory. So when you have like happy memories that chain you to the past maybe because you're still trying to feel that happiness. Like you keep thinking back to, the dog that passed away and how happy she made you 6 years ago. This is the sort of memory that, again, keeps you in that fluctuation between pleasure and pain. And these are things that we look to kind of root out of our minds in yoga, and we just wanted to bring them up here very briefly to begin to introduce them to you. And we'll probably do some videos on them in the future, so look forward to those.
Yeah, so if that was a little thick for you guys, cutting through that, don't worry. It'll all become clear in the future.
Clear.
Just keep them in mind. If you want to do some research on them, read up on them, please feel free to do so. This is kind of our expansion of 1.2, Yoga Sutra 1.2. So it's
getting into the psychology of yoga a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, which is really kind of the deeper side to yoga, the more
the side that'll make you happier, the side that'll make everything feel a little more fulfilled. So it's worth exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. So give it some thought. Again, your yoga practice is what you need it to be, and if this at this point is not what you need it to be,
great.
Yeah, just put it on the shelf.
Be happy you know that.
And put it on the shelf and be aware of it, and that in and of itself is expanding your awareness. So again, remember that you can get something out of anything that you're doing. If this isn't for you, put it on the shelf. Like I said, maybe address it sometime in the future. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know.
Woo.
Give somebody one of them, and we'll see you tomorrow.